Good morning, everybody. Thank you, dear.
Are you live?
Just started.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? You got something else?
I was going to say something to you.
Uh-oh.
You're live.
Okay.
Just keep in mind that word, that's your daughter. As you're talking about it. That's what I wanted to say.
I mean, I didn't write the news. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you doing? Welcome back. It's Monday. No, it's not Monday. It's this is the kind of week we're having right now. It's December 14th, 2022. And today's show is and the title is only like loosely connected to anything that we're going to talk about. There's not a whole lot happening yesterday. There's a little bit of stuff happening yesterday, but there's not a whole lot. It's kind of a slow news day. Let's see, Deacon, you want to come in? You come in when you want to. Hang on just a second. Oh my gosh! All right. Oh, Deacon, what's up, Deacon? What's happening, man? How you doing? You having a good day? Not a good day? All right. Well, let me just tell you guys. I've been listening to Kanye West on a crazy interview from Clubhouse. I didn't finish it yet, but Kanye's banned everywhere. He's banned on Clubhouse. He was on somebody else's channel. I don't even know what Clubhouse is. It's like some sort of a talking thing. He's banned on Twitter. He's banned on.
So they're not even
everywhere.
letting this guy talk anywhere now. Like
no.
He says something that just they won't even let him fucking talk anywhere now, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, like everywhere you go, he's banned. And he was on this interview with I think it was like Whack 100 or something. I'm not gonna look it up. I don't even know who these people are. He got invited to this little interview, and he's kind of like free form talking, and he's expounding on the interviews he did on Alex Jones. I mean, it's more and more clear to me that Tim Cass thing and the Alex Jones thing, they were stunts. It was totally a stunt.
You're just now. I mean,
I've been
Alex Jones interviews Kanye West, and that at the exact point that all that shit was happening. Of course, that was set up. And he wore a mask and said the most controversial shit that you can say. Yes,
exactly. I was saying this before, but see, people are responding to him
a while ago
as though he's like a diehard anti-Semite, and I'm like, you guys are not. You are intentionally, deliberately not listening.
Yes, they have been deliberately not listening to him for the past months and months when he said stuff.
Yeah.
Because all he's doing is he'll say a trigger word, and that gets people to stop listening to what he's saying because you've heard a trigger word, and that trigger word has triggered your delicate sensibilities to where your brain actually stops listening and processing information because it's so triggered about a word that you stop being intelligent is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what's happening. He is Kanye West's instinct for any kind of moves appears to be like whatever you think would be like the best thing, that's the last thing he's gonna do. He's gonna whatever you think would be the like worst move, that is somehow that's gonna be the move he makes. And it seems to work most of the time. Now, right now, he's got, New York. Look, if the New York Times is calling you an anti-Semite and the Washington Post and all of the, all of these newspapers, there's better than even odds that like they're lying. So, did Kanye say it like, I love Hitler? Yeah, he said that stuff. And in the context of like, I love Jews, I love everybody. Let's hug it out.
He said that in the context of I love everybody. You can't just take one thing out of context. He didn't say, We've already been over this.
Yeah. So I've been listening to his kind of like talk on Telegram and stuff, and he's kind of like, honestly, I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is myself when I'm talking on this show sometimes, where I'll just kind of like go from like topic to topic, kind of bounce around while I'm thinking about things, because as you talk about things that, things come to mind, and you want to make sure that you get them out there. So he'll bounce kind of like in a web between different ideas and stories.
Chasing rabbits is what we call that in the South, JJ,
Yeah.
because when you're walking down a path in the field and a rabbit shoots out to the right or shoots out to the left, you get off of your main path and you follow the rabbit down its path, and it goes all over the place. So you get off the main trail and you chase rabbits. So we call it chasing rabbits. You're chasing rabbits.
I think we all need to start chasing some rabbits a little bit.
I do it bad. I have tried to catch myself over the years, because in radio, I've been in morning radio for almost 30 years. So it's mainly talking a lot. It's not just doing a structured break where I identify the station, I talk about the song, I read some sort of upcoming event, and then close the break. It's free form talking with someone else about like what we're doing here. And you chase rabbits a lot. So you have to kind of mentally, if you're going to do this, like if we do this show for 10 years, you have to try to mentally keep it in your brain that, because you'll hear me sometimes. You've heard me say this. People can go back and listen to the show. If they watch the show, they've heard me say this. I'll say, I'm chasing rabbits. Let's just get on. Because I do that a lot, and I catch myself. I'm like, we were talking about A, and I'm at G here.
I'm gonna look into that phrase a little bit. Let me write that
chasing
down.
Rabbits.
Yeah. No, because like it's
always,
something that
I don't know where it come from. I've always heard it, and that's how I've always equated it to.
I've never heard it that way.
If you're walking down a path and you come across a rabbit, the rabbit shoots off to the right or the left, and if you go after it, you're getting off your main path.
So I'm listening to Kanye quite a bit, because you know what? Because like I don't know that I agree with him or that I disagree with him, because you can barely have you're barely allowed to even think about it, because the media is like, canceled. He's an anti-Semite. I don't believe that's true.
I don't believe that's
true
either.
So if they're lying about that,
I'm not like a huge Kanye West fan. I don't think I can even name one song I've ever heard of his. And I mean, the only reason I know about him and who he is because of his stupid, all the shit that he stayed in the media. He was married to one of them Kardashians, and he had some shoes or something that my kids always wanted me to buy. And that's the only thing I know about him. He was a music guy with shoes.
I didn't even know about the shoes thing until he was like canceled by Adidas or whatever. I was like, oh, you sold shoes? I don't know that.
Yeah, no, I've had to buy those shoes.
So, Kanye is the guy that did the Gold Digger song. You ever hear Gold Digger?
What a gold! Yeah, I think I know.
Yes, yeah, and I think he's got some other like bangers, but I couldn't name one of them. That's the only one I know. Yeah. That's the extent of my depth of like Kanye
isn't
fan.
It great?
Like,
isn't it great how we've both morphed into dads with the music and stuff like that? Like our parents were like, I don't know that Stone Temple, whatever mess that is, Pearl, whatever. And we've done the same thing, because my kids will be like, yo, man, Dad, have you heard young little so-and-so? No, I haven't. He's been out for about 10 years. It doesn't matter.
That has no bearing whatsoever. My wife keeps seeing an ad for Liz. I mean, this is here we go on a little bit of a rabbit, kind of a sidetrack a little bit. My wife keeps seeing Lizzo on TV. I don't know if it's like an ad on Amazon or Disney or something. But good morning, Brian. Good morning, Jeremy. But she keeps seeing Lizzo, and she's like, "Who is this?"
It's that flute playing chick, right? She played some old flute that pissed off a bunch of people for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, she keeps talking about it. She keeps seeing it, and she's like, "I don't understand why this person is like And I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know who that person is
I
either.
don't
The
know.
only reason I know is because they made a stunt, and she seems like someone that wants to make stunts to stay in the public eye, is what it seems
Yeah.
like. Like she'll
I
say
mean, look.
something controversial in order to get. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know who it is. It's some
Yeah.
musician.
I mean, she also. I mean, I literally know nothing about her other than, oh, that's a big girl playing a flute and
It's
shaking
just some
her
flute
ass.
playing chick. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Jordan says Lizzo's everywhere. Aside from this commercial, I'm avoiding. I'm like, oh, avert my gaze. I don't want to. I don't need to see that.
If she's a
So
musician I think they're called flautists. I don't think it's called a flutist. I think it's called a flautist. I might be wrong on that, but I would love to hear her like play. I'm a musician. I love that kind of crap. If she's gonna, I will listen to a musician play. If you're a musician, I'll listen to you. You know, but if she's gonna just
I
these
mean,
people that get up
you
just to
got.
show
Look,
their
I'm not
ass, just to
disparaging
show
her at
their
all.
ass. I
Yeah,
don't like.
I mean, she
I don't.
definitely wears like tights and spandex and stuff. That's from what I've seen. But
Well,
I'm
I don't mean
definitely
it
not
that
going to
way. I mean,
disparage,
you know.
because if you can play the flute and suddenly become like a pop star playing a flute, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I'll give you credit if you can
I
become a
mean,
pop
like,
star playing a flute, man,
I
because
mean,
there hadn't been that many flute players that's been in popular music. I mean, you had Jethro Tull
yeah,
had a flute player in Jethro Tull, and that's about the
that's it.
apex. Here comes a train, and I'm not going to be talking for
Oh,
the
okay.
train coming. Hang on.
All right. So anyway, I'm the only place that you can hear this interview is on Telegram. And Telegram, anytime somebody's like, "Oh, it's on my Telegram channel," I'm like, ugh, like another social network app, and it's like the discount signal, and I don't know. Anyway, so I signed in, I joined his channel or whatever his feed is, and I downloaded the interview. I've honestly been thinking about taking the whole interview and just putting it on Rumble, like put a picture of Kanye up or something and putting it on Rumble, and then let people listen to it on Rumble. I don't know. I mean, who's going to copyright strike an interview that isn't allowed to be anywhere? so I'm not sure, but I'm halfway through the interview, and he's making some good points, you know. And here's the reason I bring this up. So I'm on Twitter yesterday. I'm on Twitter like waiting for news to drop and just seeing if anything's going on. I'm constantly kind of provoking Elon of like, you know, hey dude, you should let Elon out because you didn't ban him for hate speech. Hate speech is fake anyway, but you didn't ban him for hate speech. You banned him for political speech that you don't like. That's what you banned him for. So I'm kind of constantly prodding the bear with Elon, and I find myself kind of like, you know, I'm supportive of a lot of the stuff that Elon's been doing. The Twitter files is good. Reinstating accounts is good. But you know, there's some of the stuff that he's been doing. Like he said he's not going to let Alex Jones back on the platform, and that was entirely personal because, and he gave an entirely like emotional response about kids and stuff, and it's inconsistent with a strong principle of free speech. You know, because the free speech means free speech means people will say things you don't like, and you just got to like suck it up and, you know, let people.
That's exactly right. Free speech is letting Alex Jones say whatever he wants to say because it irritates and bugs and gets on your nerves and maybe even hurts you. But that's his right to do that. Is he a piece of shit? That's for you to decide. You know?
Yeah, you decide that.
You can decide if he's a piece of shit or not. But
you can't decide if you can't listen.
Right. You can't.
Well, I mean, you can just be told what you believe, which is what's happening now.
You can't have this society that you want in your mind's eye and still restrict everything that you don't like. All right. If you want this utopian society that's impossible, but you want a society like that has been taught to you and you have in your mind's eye, it's not possible unless you learn how to deal with people that you don't agree with and that irritate you. And it's hard to do. I have trouble dealing with people that I disagree with and irritate me sometimes. I mean, you see it on here sometimes. Your brother irritates the shit out of me sometimes. Used to. I mean, I don't. Sometimes I just. Some mornings I just. Some days I deal with it better than others.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I almost never advocate for somebody should be removed from the platform. Like almost never.
on the Discord server, not the FUNSLINGERS Discord server. The
other one, the big one,
the big one that has over 13,000 plus people members. You every time something like this has happened in the 4, 5, 6 years it's been going on, when it's brought up to JJ, I know JJ's response. When any of the other moderators are like, we need to bring this up to JJ, I know what JJ's going to say. I know his response. And 9 times out of 10, it is, let them talk. You say whatever you want to. You just we have certain guidelines, and if you don't cross those lines, say whatever you want to.
I mean, like if people are posting like pornography or something like that, okay, I'll boot them because that's just not allowed. Or if they assert that they are children under 12, I'm like, you're not allowed to be here. That's against terms of service. If people are
if they threaten to kill themselves, that to me is an automatic. I don't kick them.
Yeah.
Self-harm. When they do any kind of self-harm threat, that is automatic red flags for me.
So
I go through the process.
That stuff, I'm like, you're putting a lot of people in jeopardy by saying stuff like that. And so, but like, if people are like saying bad words or being annoying, anytime somebody's like, ban him, he's annoying. And I'm like, annoying is not against the rules. And also, here's where your block button is. Just block them if you don't like it. And then and I'm so like as far as possible, I'm a huge advocate for like just let people say whatever they want to say. And if you don't want to listen, then don't listen.
I think we've had a whole generation that is 30 and younger that have most of them don't understand the concept of free speech. Okay. Right. And I think they understand what the words mean and they can define the words, but I don't think they understand how big of a deal it is in this country because they weren't taught the correct history and they didn't have, they hadn't gone through the experience. They were taught the experience, but they didn't go through, and they're about 3 or 4 generations removed from the experience. So my parents really didn't have a bad time with free speech, but it was with the Jim Crow stuff in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. Okay. And then my grandparents had an even worse time. So we're kind of 2 steps away from free speech. They're 3 and 4 steps away from the free speech. So they don't really understand what that means. So that means when somebody pisses them off and says something that they don't like, they want to cancel them. They want to get them fired from their job. They're never going to work again. Their kids are going to get made fun of at school. They want to completely end this person. And it's like, what kind of narcissistic pleasure are you getting from destroying another person's life?
Love it. They love it if they can exert power over people.
What kind of evil tendencies is that? You really need to step back and look at how evil that is. And if you don't think it's evil, don't come around me. I don't want you around me.
So then my biggest thing is like, hey, like I'm only kind of like on Twitter, I mean, I'm on Discord, but then Discord's entirely opposite of Twitter. Twitter's totally public, and then you can do some private stuff. Discord is like totally isolated and private, and and so it's kind of opposite. I'm basically I may have accounts on these other social media platforms, but I don't ever check them. But I check Twitter because that's where news is happening. That's where journalists are, and that's where like some crazy stuff happens. So I'm on Twitter, and I'm advocating for like Kanye should be released back. And my big criticism against Elon is this. It's not that, okay, so everybody that says, well, Twitter's a private company, they can do what they want. Okay, that's true. They can.
No,
But if
that starts my argument of when does a private company get so big that it influences society that society needs to take over from the private part?
and that's nationalization you're almost talking about there. But my point is this. My point is entirely in principle and ethics. If Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter, okay, you bought Twitter. But if you're going to Elon Musk, if you're going to use the "I'm for free speech," which is what he said way back in March. Sorry to be a free speech absolutist is what he said. If you're going to be a free speech absolutist, if you're going to garner moral support from the public by advocating for free speech, then you best damn well hold that when it comes down to work time. And that means when someone like Kanye or Alex Jones or whatever says something people don't like, you don't ban them or keep them suspended just because hold your principles. If that's a principle that you hold your principles. Otherwise, change your principles and let us know so that I know that I'm not supposed to be on Twitter.
Yeah, but they're not.
Okay.
You just said it earlier. You don't have to change his principles. It's a
That's fine.
private company. He can
Just
do whatever he wants to.
Just understand that Elon Musk saying he's for free speech is inconsistent with what he's doing. And I'm saying,
what I'm saying is, if you are Elon Musk and you have this private company, and we have found out that your private company directly influences governmental procedures and elections and stuff like that, when does that private company require some sort of oversight from somewhere, government, private, somewhere? It requires some sort of balance check, because obviously it doesn't have oversight right now because one side had it, the other side got it. Look what's happened. Look what we're finding out now. What they did.
Okay, so
wouldn't you agree that there needs to be some sort of checks and balances just to see what they did? Because the way that can happen again for our side.
The way that, and I talked about this a day or two ago, the way that the permissions and hierarchy are structured, the way that Twitter is designed, Twitter and specifically is designed, is that Twitter controls the nodes for distribution and permissions for people to view. Okay, Twitter has control of the distribution nodes, so they can turn off distribution of. So you put a message up there that's public, and Twitter can be like, yeah, but we're just not going to share it out. So Twitter has the command and control because it's a centralized network with centralized management. And we have seen Twitter 1.0 that the FBI and the CIA and the other spooks and the government, they wormed their way in to have conversations with it increasingly looks like a child predation advocate of Eli Roth and other people in Twitter. And they said, hey, these kind of people probably shouldn't be saying stuff like that. And then seemingly FBI asset Eli Roth and other moderators would go and they'd suspend accounts, they'd shadow ban, they'd block, they'd whatever visibility filter. Okay, so the government didn't oversight very well, and in fact facilitated corruption. The only way,
but they weren't designed. They weren't put into oversight. They were put in to corrupt. Sure. So there was no oversight. These guys weren't sent into Twitter to go, okay, we want you to balance things out. They were sent into Twitter.
You're not wrong about that.
Shut up, please.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Not Eli Roth. Yoel Roth. Yoel Roth is the child predator advocate. I'm sorry, Eli. And you can go read his thesis from. You can pull it from Wayback Machine if you want to go read his advocacy for minors having access to Grindr or something like that. So the only way. Okay, so anyway, back to your point about government regulation. So what would happen? This is the same thing that happens every time. Okay, we pass some regulation. We pass some regulation about this and this and that and this and that. And then Congress has an oversight and there's a new agency built in the executive that has relays or whatever. And as soon as that apparatus is in place, it begins to get encroached on by people with an agenda.
Well,
bureaucrats
that
will get
happens.
hired into those positions. That's exactly what will happen.
That's the United States. That's the motto of the United States, JJ. How can I screw over everybody else? That's been happening since they signed the Declaration of Independence. So yes, that's going to happen. Somebody is going to try to figure out how to screw over and make a couple of bucks from the government. But that doesn't nullify the fact that a private corporation has become so large that it directly affects
it does.
governmental elections. It affects all kinds of things. So we as a society need to step back and say, okay, when does a private company, be it Twitter, Facebook, Nestle, Kellogg's, whatever, whoever it is, when does this private company, when do we as a society have to go, wait a fucking second, you've got too much power and you're leaning towards one side or leaning to the, we have to, if you want, this is a hard freaking question that we've never had to, as societies have never had to come up with before.
I think that this is a moment in time where we need some innovation. We need an innovation that sets aside all of this Web 1.0, Twitter services stuff, and we need, or maybe Web 2.0, I don't know what it is, but this centralized structure. Discord is a totally centralized structure. It's hierarchical and nested. Twitter, centralized structure. YouTube, centralized structure. The only way that we could build a resilience for free speech that cannot be interrupted by those that control the centralized distribution nodes, it would be for a real tech innovation in terms of decentralized communications that are both resilient, multiply redundant, allows the person who created the content to be the only one that can take it down, and so that nobody else can take your content down. And that's going to mean there's opportunities for criminals.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I was just fixing to say. What you were just fixing to say, there's opportunities for criminals to do it, and that's not going to happen.
But it should reflect the real world. If it's supposed to be a free speech platform, it should reflect the real world. And that unfortunately should mean that there's a place for that there's going to be places where criminals can get in and say criminal things, but at least you'll be able to track them. At least you'll be able to see it.
I'm not a big TikTok person, but there's a lot of talk about TikTok and China controls it.
Okay.
And does this.
Yeah.
My my kids are on TikTok. Ashley was telling me. Hang on. Something caught in my throat. Hang on.
Check for rabbits. So that kind of is a bit.
Wait a minute before I forget my thought.
No, I'm not. Okay, go ahead.
Ashley was saying on TikTok, she was defending it one day to me, saying she liked it during the what was going on in the Ukraine thing when it first started, because the media is feeding you one thing and you're seeing all this stuff coming through Facebook, Twitter, the mainstream media. She said, if you get on TikTok and you scroll, I think it's TikTok or Snapchat or one of them.
It's probably Telegram.
It might have been Snapchat. You can scroll out and look and go to like the places around the world and click, and it'll show you all these people that have their snaps and their stories that are public. And she was looking at all the stuff from the Ukraine that was going on during that time when they were saying, when the media says one thing, she was going to these places and seeing what the actual people that live there were filming. And it was, sometimes it didn't match up to what the media was trying to feed over here.
Right.
I mean, these people in Ukraine
probably
were saying one thing and the media was saying another thing. She was even showing those.
At the outbreak of the start of this war, I was following channels in Russian and in Ukrainian on Telegram, and I was following in open source intelligence and ground reporters on Twitter. So absolutely, the news that I was getting directly from those sources was days ahead of major media and framed differently very frequently. So because there was no framing, it was just like, here's what's going on here, and then like explosions or tanks or whatever, and the media kind of sews it together into a narrative of like so and so place is getting invaded. But the fact that you can go to other social media networks and get different information is closer to what I'm kind of saying of having a decentralized network. So if messages from Twitter and TikTok and whatever these different networks are could bleed across networks so that you could post to Twitter, but someone on TikTok could read it, that's closer to a decentralized system that wouldn't necessarily allow the government a place where they could lock in and then shut you down or use a gullible asset like Yoel Roth as a proxy to shut you down. So we if we want to have freedom, we're going to have to build systems that enable it and protect it from companies and protect it from the government. Surprise, surprise. The government is the almost the biggest, the worst enemy you have in terms of your liberties and freedom.
What? No, JJ.
Who could have seen this coming?
Government is here to help and protect you.
Where's my Constitution at? These guys saw it coming. All right. I don't know. Maybe the FBI or the CIA is going to shut down this show.
We have FBI that listen to this show.
I know. And we love you. You're the good ones. There's some bad ones. There's some bad ones.
They might be taking notes. What do these extremist dads really think?
Listen, I'm totally okay with the FBI watching this show, and especially like and subscribe and leave comments below. If you don't mind, FBI, just leave some
if
positive
you don't mind,
comments.
just get all the other agents in the office just to log on and it'll take like 15 seconds. Just be like,
no
dude,
time at all. Go in, hit the little
subscribe to them so they'll shut up and quit bugging us.
Leave some hate comments. We love to read the hate comments.
Leave us some cryptic comments too. Like, leave us something like, "We know what you did," or "We're watching." Let us know.
Deacon, do you want to do news stories or do you want to tell your Christmas movie? Because don't let me forget to give you a chance to talk about your Christmas movie.
I have 16, 15, 14, 13, 12.
Okay, we're going to do a news story real quick.
Yeah, I got to talk.
We're going to do the title news story, although I might change the title of the show in post-production. I'm allowed to do that. The title of today's show is the Health and Human Services Approve Healthcare for Illegal Immigrants. So let's check this out. This is fascinating. Health and Human Services approves a Washington plan to give health care to illegals on health equity grounds. The scheme would require a rollback in provisions outlined in the Affordable Care Act, which normally excludes non-citizens from receiving ACA benefits. So the government is going to make sure that the U.S. taxpayer can subsidize healthcare plans, perhaps cover them entirely for people who are in our country undocumentedly. The Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of the Treasury on Tuesday approved a proposal from the state of Washington to provide illegal immigrants with health insurance. Okay, from the state of Washington. Well, that's good news. Washington State, you guys can do whatever you want. I don't care, as long as it's in Washington. Also, Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, if you guys want to start routing up our buses from Texas and Florida up to Washington, I think that seems like a good choice, because that means that not only are people getting to where they want to be, they would also get health care, and I think that's good for them. Washington has requested a waiver in order to expand access to qualified health plans, standalone qualified dental plans, and state affordability program to Washington residents regardless of immigration status. The waiver will help Washington work towards its goals of improving health equity and reducing racial disparities by expanding access to coverage for the uninsured population through the state exchange, all while not increasing the costs for those currently enrolled. Sure. Okay, whatever. The scheme would require a rollback in the ACA, which excludes non-citizens from receiving ACA benefits, according to Fox News. The ACA does include a provision by which states may seek a federal waiver of its provisions to experiment with unconventional methods aimed at improving healthcare access. Federal approval of the plan comes the same day as a significantly large illegal border crossing occurred. Oh no. On Tuesday, roughly 1,000 migrants traveling on nearly 20 buses entered the U.S. via El Paso and received financial support from the Mexican government and a police escort. I gotta say, this is a real. This sounds like a real innovation right here. Because if they're already on buses when they get here, that means that the state of Texas doesn't have to necessarily provide buses for them to keep going where they're going. So I guess we just let them in, and you guys just go where you want. So maybe we'll give them a map to Washington. Illegal immigration has reached historic levels under the Biden administration, with 2.4 million entering the U.S. during fiscal year 2022 alone, and nearly 4 million doing so since President Joe Biden took office in January of 2021. Authorities expect those numbers to surge even higher once the Title 42 immigration enforcement provision ends next week. So, there we go. Deacon, how's that sound? Washington State wants to provide health care to their undocumented population. Are you for it?
Hell yeah. Rock and roll, brother. Let's do it.
Washington. Yeah, do it, guys.
Do it.
I'm whatever. Honestly, it's like, do I have to pay? I don't have to pay. Washington pays. Whatever. I don't care. Send them up there. I mean, like, oh, what about elections? And what about, what are you going to do?
Let them vote. Let them vote. I don't know why we don't.
Absolutely.
Vote
Look,
anyway. Like
illegal immigrants voting in Washington can't do a worse job than Washington citizens.
I don't know why we just don't let the world vote for our elections anyway. We already do. I mean,
let everybody in.
I don't understand. Why not?
That's the good human thing to do. Just let everybody be in charge of you. Okay. I want to mention this. According to, let me just check. What was the word? I don't know how far back that is. The people in power will never allow decentralization of any kind that undermines their grasp on power. Maybe. I can see definitely why they would be resistant to it. But, that thing about decentralization is like you can spin your own nodes up and you can buy your own domains. Deacon thinks government is evil but wants to regulate big companies. Deacon, you've been challenged. Defend your position.
I think government is evil but wants to regulate Twitter. Companies. No, that's not what I said. We need some sort of oversight, be it government or something. There has to be some sort of oversight. We have gotten to a point to where these big companies, not just every big company, but once a company has got past the point, like Twitter, we have found out that Twitter directly affected an election because of what they did. Probably directly affected an election of a country, be it our country or Poland or Botswana or whatever.
Could be Brazil. Wasn't Brazil like a big thing recently?
Myanmar had a big election mishap right after ours. So when does the company become a private company become so big that it influences world decisions that someone needs to step in and give some oversight? I'm not saying that the government is evil. All right. The big government is evil. The little government is not evil. Big government is evil. But
I think that ability to shift elections though comes from the market control. If everybody goes to Twitter and Twitter's centralized, then you know what I mean?
to me, it doesn't matter what the company does. The company has control over
Right.
a poor, and it directly influences no matter what it does. Whatever the company does, it's directly influencing, and this company is directly influencing certain things in the world. So who needs to? This is what I said earlier. I've said it episodes ago when we talked about this exact same thing. This is a point. This is a problem that we have at this point in time that humans have, as far as we know, have never had to discuss and have some sort of policies on, because in no point in time have we ever had a device that has been able to influence the minds of so many people. You understand what I'm saying? You have a device that can basically influence and sway the minds of millions and millions of people. So, and you use this device to sway the minds. You're not mind controlling, but you kind of are, because I can direct you to certain things, and I can make you only see certain things for months and months to where you believe it. Okay, so I can completely do that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the government needs to. We need to control Twitter.
Right.
Somebody needs to. As we need a policy.
You and I agree that there's a big problem here, and the current arrangement don't work, and neither of us trust that the government can fix it either.
Right. Yes, Jordan. Yes, yes, Jordan. That's what I was meaning.
So Jeremy said that Twitter was working with the government, and Twitter was not a private company. So
I
just want to I want to illuminate this for just a moment. They absolutely were working with government, but when we say private company and public company, there's a distinction between a private company as it's owned entirely by, it's basically not traded on the stock exchange. A public company is a company that is traded on the stock exchange, so people can buy shares and be publicly traded and publicly owned.
Right.
And then there's other context of public where you mean like, oh, it's not a public entity being government owned and operated. So it's not
That's
that
what I
Twitter,
mean. This is semantics.
Semantics. So let's just be clear about our terminology here. Twitter was a private company, publicly traded private company.
It was a private company, publicly traded.
Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. I can see his bleeding viewers. People are like, "Oh, are you guys serious?"
I know.
Hey, but we did get a Twitch viewer and subscribed a couple days. You don't care. All right. We got a few minutes
left.
Not
about that. You need to realize there's about a 6-second delay between us. I mean, it
can't be that long, can it?
It is anywhere from 4 to 6 seconds. I can hear myself in your headphones sometimes.
Oh, really? They're wireless. How does that work?
I can hear it sometimes.
Oh. All right. We got about 15 minutes left. We technically mentioned the illegal healthcare stuff, like, I had this one more story, and then let's talk Christmas movies. Okay. The other story was this. I saw this morning. Now, you are aware that Sam I can't even say this dude's name right. SBF, the former CEO of Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested on Monday. We talked about the FTX exchange a week or two ago. I tried to summarize it. Basically, it was a giant Ponzi scheme and a fraud. And the dude cashed out like $300 million and lost billions of dollars of crypto assets belonging to customers. Well, it's now there's a new CEO for FTX, and the new CEO, because Sam Bankman-Fried skipped the U.S. and left and was hiding in the Bahamas. The new CEO says the company's collapse worse than Enron, calls it paperless bankruptcy. This is starting to get the attention of people in Congress. The people that some of the people are the people that the FTX exchange donated to, or Sam Bankman-Fried donated to. What's her name? The one that wants I can't remember her name right now. Not Ghislaine Maxwell.
Terrible story.
Well, it's not good, but worse than Enron. FTX is worse than Enron.
You don't know anything that's going on.
What do you mean?
You might as well just have picked a random story and just started reading. I have no idea what any of
You
that
don't know about the FTX exchange. We talked about
No,
it. It was a
no.
crypto exchange. You give your
You
real
oh,
dollars to the
I,
FTX, and they
y-
give you pretend crypto
oh,
coins,
yeah. Okay.
and then they lost your money.
Okay.
They
I
lost
don't
they lost your
I
money, but
don't
not
have
before.
excess money to give to people to exchange or hold, so I don't keep up with any of that mess.
Okay, so Sam
I,
SBF on
yeah,
Twitter.
you don't have to. I mean,
It's
if
not going to
unless
help.
you want to, yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
This dude. Let me see if I can get to the dramatic part of this.
Okay. Yeah.
So
All
I'm going
right.
to call him Sam. All right. So
Right. Sam.
Sam was in charge of this company.
Right.
This company that took billions of dollars from customers
Right.
and exchanged crypto, whatever. And then he cashed out like 300 million and
He stole it and went to the Bahamas on a private jet.
he gave 40 million to
Right.
Mitch McConnell,
Oh, he gives it to all of
McCarthy,
his buddies first. He's like, I'm gonna give
and
you
and
some, I'm gonna give you
a
some.
and a
Okay.
bunch of Democrats,
All right.
Maxine Waters is one of them. Maxine Waters, who happens to be on the Federal
Right.
Exchange Oversight
Right.
Committee.
Right.
So
He probably
one
did
of the
some
people investigating this is a
prostitutes and
recipient of his
cocaine.
money. So
Right.
he leaves and goes to the Bahamas, and then
Yeah.
is supposed to testify before Congress about all of this.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't think I can be there in person because I'm overbooked. And so he's
Yeah. I
supposed to be
mean, he's
testifying to
got a
Congress.
conference in Las Vegas to go to, and yeah, he's
Well,
got stuff to
he
do.
is not staying in the U.S. He is he's definitely
Okay.
staying in the Bahamas. And so Congress is like, you need to come here and testify. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm overbooked. So Sam was arrested in the Bahamas yesterday or a couple of days ago, and is being extradited to the United States so that Congress can get their pound of flesh out of this guy that stole millions of dollars, perhaps billions of dollars. And he is trying to fight the extradition to not come back to the U.S. If he comes back to the U.S., he could be charged with some serious crimes and could spend up to 115 years in jail. So the criminal is alleged criminal though has got deep ties to the establishment. So we'll have to see how it turns out. I think that's a fair summary. Brian, Brian knows best. Brian, is that a pretty fair summary? Sam the Bank is a fraudster. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So it's bigger than Enron. Big money. All right. Deacon.
I don't want to
ready.
do a Christmas music movie this morning. I just don't.
Okay.
I'm not in the
Okay.
mood. I'm not in a happy
right.
mood. I don't want
right.
to talk about happy Christmas shit. I just don't. I've thrown up
All
for
right.
the past 3 mornings. I'm struggling to be here with a smile on my face. I just don't. I hate Christmas. I just don't. Here, I'll do my damn movie. I've got it.
No, you don't need to.
Look here. Here's my little chick flick Christmas movie, so everybody can make fun of me. But I watched this one year because I had to, and it's really good. And it's got
Love
Alan
Actually.
Rickman. Have you never seen
Alan
Love
Rickman?
Actually?
I don't know. Let me find out.
It's got Liam Neeson. It's got Hugh Grant. It's got Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Laura Linney, Keira Knightley, Bill Nye, Rowan Atkinson. It is actually, and it's a Christmas movie about a bunch of different families, and some of them overlap. Some of them are couples. Some of them have families. Some of them have kids. He's like the prime minister. He meets another, and it is a really good movie.
Oh, Bill Nye is in this.
Yes, Bill
God.
Nye plays a washed up musician from like the 70s or 80s, and that was really
Holy
popular.
Crap.
Who's trying to stay legitimate, and he's recording a Christmas song that to try to stay
this
in the limelight. It's a really good movie.
Bottom of the cast, Martin Freeman is in this. Chiwetel Ejiofor, the operator from Serenity. Yes. Andrew Lincoln from Walking Dead is in
It is
this.
a
Keira
really
Knightley.
good movie. Yeah, I mean, it's
All
a
right.
cute little Christmas movie. It makes you feel good. It'll make
I'm
you
going to put it on the
laugh.
list.
It is a real good movie, and that's one that, like, I knew I was like, people make fun of the guys will make fun of me for that one. But I don't care because this is a chick flick that was really good. I've seen it a bunch of times. Yeah, it follows the lives of 8 very different couples dealing with their love lives around Christmas. It's a good movie.
I'm gonna I have it on the list. I'm gonna see if I can find somewhere I can watch it. It's on AMC or something like that, so maybe I can watch it on AMC. All right. Hey, I mean the cast looks great.
Yeah,
and my wife might want to watch. My wife won't want to watch it, so maybe we'll make popcorn and watch it this weekend.
You can watch.
Is it what's it rated?
Peacock
It's not rated. It's not got
R.
like foul humor or anything. Is it rated
No,
R?
it's rated R. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any nudity in it. I think there's some cussing. And no, there's probably some cussing in it. Bill Nye, I think, cusses.
Okay.
And there might. I don't know if there's some. I don't think there's any boobs in it. That's the one thing that I worry about. You don't have to worry about this, but as a dad, I have to worry about the 80s boobs. In the 80s, they had to put a shirtless girl in every single freaking.
You want someone to watch the movie or not?
I mean, and at the time in the 80s, I'm like, all right, boobs. But now as a father, I'm like, I forgot about that part.
You forgot about it entirely. What's that movie? Keanu Reeves and or he plays the cop, the FBI agent that is
Point Break.
Yes, Point Break. About 2 years ago, I was like, oh my God, Point Break's available. Cass, have you ever seen Point Break? No, I've never seen Point Break. Let's watch Point Break. This movie's amazing. Starts out with a heist. There's masks. Keanu Reeves is surfing. This thing is amazing. Oh my God, whoa. Whoa. During a raid scene, they do this raid scene, and it's like it's a bunch of naked people or something. Anyway, I was I forgot about this scene.
No, I remember that part. Yeah. We did the same thing during COVID. We were like picking movies and stuff like that to watch with the kids. And so we're like, all right, I said, let's watch this movie, Jack, with Robin Williams. And they were never seen it. And I'm like, this is a good movie. This is about Robin Williams plays this little boy named Jack that has this disease that makes him grow really fast. So he's like a 40-year-old in a 10-year-old's body. And so we're watching the movie, and there's a whole big plot line where the kids steal penthouses and talk about the penthouse forums and the penthouses and whatnot. So we're sitting there watching that with my kids, and Ashley shoots me a look. She's like, you don't get to pick the movies anymore.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, you gotta be careful. You watch them old movies, you better
especially a movie from the 80s. If you're a dad and you're telling your kid, oh, son, you'll like this movie. This was a good movie you better watch it first before you just rely on your memory, because I guarantee you there's a gratuitous boob shot. We were watching Airplane one day, one of my top, if it's not the number one movie of all time in my books. Airplane is either number one or number two. And I hadn't seen it, and this was a while ago, but we hadn't seen it a long time, and we're watching it, and there's the scene where the boobs appear right there in the screen for about 3 seconds and then go off screen. I'm like, I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. And it was like, they were like, this will be so great. This will get us the mid-20s. And it never occurred to them, like, kids will never be able to watch this movie. And parents will never be able to show. At the time, you didn't think about like the long life of the film, the
longevity of the film.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like back then it was like, you better get box office numbers. This is what you do to get box office numbers. And because once it goes out of the box office, it's gone for years. Right. And now it's like the box office don't matter that much.
I love reading about all these people nowadays that will dissect the 80s movies and say, basically Revenge of the Nerds is a bunch of kids committing sex crimes. This wouldn't go today. This wouldn't fly today because, this movie is completely about this.
All right. Well, I'm gonna.
So yeah,
You
Love
did a
Actually.
Christmas movie, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
you
my
do one.
Christmas movie. I added yours to my list, and you know what? I'm always kind of like advocating, like people like think about something they don't normally think about, or maybe absorb a different view, or listen to people. So I'm gonna listen to you and try to watch Love Actually.
Okay, watch it
And
with your wife.
yeah, she would probably like it.
Yeah, she
I
would.
mean, I like a lot of the cast. You put Bill Nye in something, you could just have Bill Nye like reading a phone book, and I'll be like,
Yeah,
I like
he's
this
funny.
guy.
He's
Some
got a
people
funny part.
got that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with, let's see. I don't have any particular order, but I did Gremlins yesterday. Oh, by the way, Gremlins, the HBO cut, they dropped the microwave scene. Yep.
Wow.
I don't know. But
Was
they
it
do.
giving kids ideas to put stuff in the microwave? Come on, she
It
put
might
the
have been.
gremlin in the microwave and turned it on. It
Might have been.
exploded in green goo. Come on, that was a great part.
All right. Now I feel
That
like
was
this
classic.
might be.
That's like the blender part too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kitchen part was a freaky part when you were a kid, man. Her killing those gremlins. Oh,
yeah.
that's
You gotta
sucks.
get rid of them things. Nasty gremlins.
We
All
live in
right.
a
So here's
we live in
my.
a clown world.
I don't know.
I'm mad about that. That hurts
Man
my
up.
feelings,
Sometimes
Jimmy.
you got to put bad guys in a microwave and zap them, and they got to blow
Hurts my
up. That's what you
feelings.
got to do sometimes. All right. My Christmas movie today, and I'm trying to do Christmas movie every day, but we don't want to do necessarily cliche Christmas movies, so we want to do kind of fun Christmas movies. This one might be a little controversial since it's not a great movie, but I choose Ghostbusters
Oh,
2.
that's a great movie. I love Ghostbusters 2.
I mean,
who says it's not a great movie? Haters.
It's not a great movie in being a sequel to Ghostbusters, but it's a pretty good movie.
But it's a good movie.
It's good. I mean, but you can't make a sequel to Ghostbusters that's as good as Ghostbusters. It's not possible.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
This was good.
So,
come on.
This was the second best option to never doing a sequel. The second best option was, okay, let's put slime in a Statue of Liberty and
it wasn't the best concept. I'll give you that. But I mean, come on, Vigo was awesome. And
oh yeah,
come on, yeah. I like this movie. I don't care. People can hate it. I like Ghostbusters too. Bobby Brown song, man. Come on.
Oh yeah. Look. So, in this movie, there's this basically protoplasm ghost slime or something down in the sewer, and the Sigourney Weaver's character is like a Dana Barrett is like working as like an art restoration person, and she restores this picture of Vigo the Carpathian, right?
Vigo the Carpathian.
Oh my gosh, yes. And that guy's character is so great.
That's what I was trying to see who that was. I can't remember his name, but he is great.
Let's see. That is
Peter McNichol. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Wow.
He's hilarious. Man, that character.
He puts on this like not necessarily confirmed like super gay art character. It becomes like a major fanboy of this evil Carpathian ghost thing that's trying to come back into the world and take over the world. Right. Of course.
Yeah, he's a big voice actor. I think he's a Batman villain.
Oh yeah. I kind of want to dig into his bio and see what else he's done because I recognize him from other stuff. But you remember at the end, the slime, the evil slime, kind of makes a shell around the museum where Vigo's got his powers at, and the Ghostbusters use the slime because it responds to emotion. They use it to power the Statue of Liberty and stomp across New York to get over to the thing, and then using they can't get through the slime. They can't get through the slime even with the Statue of Liberty. What do? They get the New Yorkers to sing old what is this?
Put a little love in your heart.
Yeah, they get all of New Yorkers to manifest their Christmas spirit, their goodwill, to overpower the emotional response of the evil slime and break through, and then they're able to to bust that ghost. So
Exactly.
It's only with the
love
goodwill
of
towards
New
your
Yorkers.
common men. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is totally gone now. That shit is gone.
That's
New York is a dangerous, bad place to be.
he plays the Mad Hatter in all the Batman stuff.
What else does he? What? Yeah. Does he have any other like major things that you'd really, really know him from? He's definitely doing a lot of voice work.
Stuff. Yeah.
Oh, he was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a couple episodes. That's probably what's ringing my bell.
I don't remember him on there. Was he? Maybe.
Yeah, two episodes. We played some professor or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So that's our Christmas movies today. And I'm probably going to like revise that because we spent a lot more time talking about free speech than we did about healthcare for illegal immigrants. I think we both come down. I agree. Washington should give healthcare to whoever they want. So I'm on board with that. Go Washington. All right. Anything else today? I don't think so. Thanks for showing up.
Sorry, I'm late.
We'll be back tomorrow. I can't believe it's 6 seconds. That's so crazy.
No, it's anywhere from 4 to 6, I bet.
But sometimes when I talk to you, you talk right back.
It's not all the time.
Oh, it's intermittent.
And I can really tell sometimes when it's bad.
Do I sometimes do I get lagged or something like that? You think it's
I don't know. Sometimes you do lag for me. Like you'll be sitting there in a spot, yeah. And then you'll it hasn't happened in a while, but okay. Hey, did y'all have any bad storms? I'm reading about some nastiness here in my news today. Like in my local news, talking about some nasty weather in y'all's area, and I thought I need to ask JJ.
We had a little bit of rain yesterday, and we had a kind of electrical storm. We had like a big
that's what I'm hearing.
Few days ago, but it wasn't too bad. I think my wife mentioned that there was some like nasty weather up in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and Jeremy might know about that. I mean, Jeremy would know about that. So I think definitely a little bit farther north, it's like getting pretty bad.
Oh, I guess it probably was the Dallas Fort Worth area, not the
area. It's just a little rainy down here, a little rainy, a little thundery. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching this show. Another amazing episode of Your Two Dads. Look, I put a little thing up there, but like, I'm not sure about the title of the show. It could be like the FUNSLINGERS talk show. We could do that. What do you think about that?
You're going to change the title of the show?
Not really. I just haven't been putting it up at all. Like, you know why? Because people get confused because the only thing they can really do is go to rumble.com/JJW. That's the thing that they have to go find. So, I don't know. All right. We'll be back tomorrow with more amazing news. I'm going to continue my campaign to get Kanye free. If Kanye gets free, I'm gonna take credit for it. What?
Okay.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What the hell? I'm trying to free Kanye.
I would pick a different hill to climb, JJ. I don't know why you've picked this particular one to try to conquer, but I don't know if I want to accompany you up this hill.
And if I can get him free, then I get to take massive credit. Don't you think?
Once again, there are other hills to climb, and I don't know if this particular one I can accompany you on.
All right. Okay. That's fair. All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.